In this video, we're going to go over a couple websites that you can use in your search for a rental property. The first one we're going to look at is Zumper.com. And so when you get to Zumper, you'll first see in the central area, it's going to ask you where you want to live. So let's just choose Oakland, California. Let's say we're moving to Oakland for a job and we're exploring, different housing options. So let's go to Oakland. And you see here that it basically pulls up a map with a bunch of properties. And these are all rentals. So Zumper is just for rentals. So it's organized. You can kind of see the flags are by the monthly rent. So let's filter this down because this is all the rentals that are currently listed. And Zumper, I believe, pulls the information from Craigslist, from a bunch of different sources. So, from what I've seen, it's pretty complete and comprehensive. So it may not have everything, but it has, from various other websites, it's probably going to overlap quite a bit. So I think it's a good place to start. Okay, so let's filter. So there, you can see here, there's a couple of filters. So we can filter by the number of rooms. So let's say you and your friend are moving in together and you want a two-bedroom place, and you're gonna also want your own bathroom. So we want at least two bathrooms, and so we can apply that. And then let's say we're also on a budget. So you can see here, it's pretty nice. It gives you a distribution of the rents. And so as you toggle this, you can see kind of in this area here how many of the listings are still available. So we can see there's all these high-end listings, but there's not actually that many. But right around here is probably where we're still going to have quite a few listings and within our price range. Okay, so let's see what the map is showing now. Our rent scale is a little too narrow. It only had two listings. So let's increase it. Let's say we're on a budget of 3,000. Okay, so there's 37 listings you can see here. And let's say we have a particular neighborhood we want to live in. So let's say we only want to look in, this is Berkeley, let's say in the financial district. So what you can do here is also just draw, let's say we want to live close to Lake Merritt, which is this lake right here. So let's just draw a little circle around Lake Merritt. Okay, so now this has narrowed down our search, and we can see if we zoom into the map here that there's actually not that many units. We've kind of narrowed down the search to a manageable level. And so let's see what we have. Okay, so it looks like this looks like an older kind of apartment building. So that has pictures you can click. Okay, so that's clearly a little more affordable, 2350 versus, let's see, I think there's some higher end ones here. So let's see what we get for 3,000. Okay, so this is kind of like a high-rise building here, which is a little more updated. Okay, so let's say we wanted to choose this one. What it should have here is, so it's going to have apartment contacts. So we'll have the number of the leasing office. So you can, you know, call in to this number and say that you saw this unit on the Zumper and you wanted to see if it was available and kind of give them your information. And the property leasing agent will kind of follow up with you, and you could schedule a time to come in and look at the unit. And so Zumper also is going to have a description here. So a spacious two-bedroom condo. It's got stainless steel appliances. It's got one assigned parking space, so that's important. Laundry is, I believe, inside the unit, so that's another big one. One thing to look for here is if you want your laundry machine in the unit. Many apartments will have a laundry machine kind of shared by the building, but some do have inside the unit. So if that's something you want, that's something worth checking. Okay, so again, in the video I made on what to look for in a lease, the utilities were one thing. So the owner pays for garbage and water. So you the tenant are not going to pay for garbage and water. So you will just be responsible for electricity and gas. It looks like those are the two. No smoking and no pets. and then just some information on the area. Okay, so here's some details on the application. So there's an application fee. It gives a minimum credit score, and again, 3x the gross uh, rent and gross income. So kind of talked about what this was in that video on what landlords look for. A positive landlord reference. So, this is actually a really good listing. It gives a lot of the information on the unit just in the listing itself. So it looks like this is another contact information here. Okay, so there you go. So that's one of the units. Let's go look at the other one and see what the process was to apply for that. So I think it's this one here. Okay, so let's see what they had here. So huge 2 bedroom, not too much information on the application, but you do have a number here to call, and it says it's a 1 year lease and it's available now. So it looks like they also tell you that they show it on Sundays at 4 p.m. So, this is kind of less information on the terms, what expenses you're responsible for, not that much information on the unit, but it's a starting place. You can just call and find out more and ask things about, are pets allowed? Is there a washer dryer in the unit? You can ask all that when you call the apartment contact. Okay, and just wanted to show you Craigslist also. This is another really good source of postings for housing. So if you go to Craigslist, it has a bunch of different areas that you can basically search in. We'll just do Oakland again. So I went to the San Francisco Bay Area one. So, but let's say you wanted to search in Los Angeles. They have a Los Angeles one. It's the same setup. It's just for a different market and location. So let's go back to the San Francisco Bay Area and let's go to housing. So there's all these different kinds of options, for not just an entire apartment. You can find roommates, sublets. So Craigslist is really good for finding other types of real estate that you may need to rent. And it even has, I believe, real estate for sale, but it's not really used for that. This section here is much more geared towards housing rentals. Okay, so here's the real estate for sale. Usually there's not too much in here, and it probably overlaps with Redfin or Realtor.com, but maybe it's worth checking out if you are looking to buy a house. But this video is more focused on rentals, so let's just stick to that. So let's assume that you're looking for an apartment to rent. So you click on apartments, and it has a similar kind of map view as Zumper. And so we can search Oakland, and it kind of has a drop down here. And then it has a similar kind of filters. So let's do the $3,000 again. Let's do exactly 2 bedrooms. To say minimum of 2 bathrooms. And it's actually nice because it has all these other kind of filters here. So let's say we have a dog, and so let's say we also want washer dryer in unit. So let's update the search. Okay, so now let's zoom in, and similarly you can I believe draw, or I guess it works like you just zoom into the area you want to search, and you can just say search this area. Okay, so I guess the drawing a search area is not the greatest, but I think it works pretty well. It just kind of updates as you move the map around. So you can see here it added some. So just go to the area that you want to kind of look at, and it will kind of have the listings there. Okay, so let's look at this one. So again, it has pictures. This looks like a really nice place, and it has a nice description here. It has a nice description of kind of the major features: air conditioning, washer dryer in unit, no smoking, monthly rental, dogs are okay, cats are okay. And so you can read through it. It gives a description of all the amenities. So this is a more kind of higher end apartment building, it looks like. So it has a lot of amenities like a rooftop terrace, a DIY makerspace. That's kind of nice. Yoga and TRX studio. So it has a lot of nice stuff if you live in this particular building. And these are community features. So these are not just for your unit. This is shared community features for the entire building. So this is important. So this is the pricing is net effective. So they're giving you 2 months of rent for free, and they're basically the rent that you'll pay on your lease is actually going to be higher than this, because what they're doing is you're basically paying 12 months of rent for the price of 10, and they're averaging that 10 across 12 months. So it's actually, so even though they're advertising at 28.40, the actual lease you're going to sign is going to be for 3,400 a month. And what they do is basically you sign a lease for 3,400 for 12 months, but then they're going to give you 2 months for free. So you actually end up paying 10 months of rent. And so your actual 1 year cost is only 28.39 per month, which is what they're saying here is price is net effective. So it's kind of a trick, because after your lease goes month to month, you're gonna pay 3,400 a month and not 2,800. So, it's a little trick to kind of get you in the door, and then once it's like you're getting like a little bonus to move in, and then once you're in, the rent is actually higher. So these terms are important to kind of pay attention to. This is a little tricky how they did this advertising here. So just be careful about when you actually sign the lease to look at all the details, because they might play these kind of games of advertising one price. And it is true, this is what you're paying per month for 12 months because they're giving you 2 months for free. But it's after the 1 year is over where you got that kind of discount, it's going to revert back to the original price of around 3,400 a month. And so with Craigslist, the way that you follow up is that you can hit this reply button, and you'll be able to basically contact the person who posted the ad, and it's usually going to be the property manager. You can follow up that way, and again schedule a viewing of the property, find out more details about the lease, see what the application fee is, etc. So that's Craigslist basically. So just to put this process into context, using Craigslist, using Zumper, you're going to basically have your list of properties, or you're going to get some results from the search. You're going to just on the computer look at the listings and basically see the details, and figure out which ones you actually want to go view. You may not want to spend the time to go view all of them. Some of them might be in areas you don't necessarily want to live in, or the price is too high, or you're more excited about certain other ones that are maybe good for your needs and are more affordable. And so you want to basically narrow down the ones that you want to go see. You contact the property manager or landlord that's listed in the listing, and you go view the property. And then if you want to follow up, then you apply and get the place. And so again, I would refer back to the video I made specifically on finding rentals for more discussion on the steps. But Zumper, Craigslist is kind of the first step in your search. Once you've identified the neighborhood or place that you want to live, it's where you can get all the active listings that are available for you to move into. And of course, you have all the filters to kind of figure out which ones work for your needs and budget.